Good morning and a warm welcome to the project briefing for the reconstruction and sealing of Kalamina Road, which is 5.9 kilometers in length and can be seen by the blue line in the first image. The road starts at Banjima Drive North, Big Red Circle, to the car park and all the way to Kalamina Gorge, shown as the smaller red circle. The bottom image is a beautiful view of the Kalamina Gorge area within the Karijini National Park. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this infrastructure project is planned, the Banyima, Kurama, and Inawanga peoples. Pay our respects to elders past and present. We recognize their enduring connection to country, culture, and community, and their roles as custodians of the land within Karijini National Park. As part of our consultation and engagement with the traditional owners, I would like to respectfully share a cultural story that reflects their deep relationship with land and sky. The story goes as follows. Windwuro is remembered as a powerful ancestral figure, an elder who had 7 wives and each representing a guided spirit. These women were given to help establish different tribal groups across the region, forming foundations of kinship, law, and shared ancestry among the Banyima, Kerama, and Inawanga peoples. Their journey across the land is mirrored in the night sky, where a cluster of 7 stars travels together. These stars are seen as the spiritual presence of the woman watching over the land and its people. The story reminds us that country is not just physical terrain. It is living, storied, and sacred. This story has been shared with permission and is included here to honor the cultural heritage of the traditional owners and acknowledge their enduring custodianship of the land on which this reconstruction and sealing project is being developed. We will now watch a short video on the Karijini National Park that is delivered by Park Ranger Steve.
The vastness of the place, the landscape being up in the highest area in the WA. So you've got these vast areas of like mountains, but you've also got these beautiful trees around us, the vegetation here. So it's arid, but it's still, got plenty of vegetation, a whole array of different plants. But also I think the ongoing Indigenous connection to this country is very important as well, where the traditional owners are still actively looking after country, the law's still strong. So I think it's just a whole range of things that makes this country really special. I think the main attraction here is the gorges and the variety of different gorges that we have here, from places that are just such beautiful places such as Fern Pool and Fortescue Falls, where it's big shady fig trees and fern-lined water holes with little waterfalls tumbling in, and it's just the most picturesque sort of a place. But then we have the other side of it, the more adventurous gorges like Hancock Gorge, where it's just carved out of sheer rock. It's narrow, and the colours in it of the rocks, and just walking down through there. And it really is an adventure to go down into those gorges. And I think that's the main attraction. But when people do get here, they're amazed at the vegetation and how beautiful the whole landscape is, really. And that's really, I guess, what brings people back as well. The local Bunjima people have a saying that go with a clear, open and accepting spirit and the country will do you no harm.
The agenda for today includes project context and key challenges, stakeholder engagement, water and wastewater management, materials and materials management, risk management, the overall project schedule, site management and project delivery, conclusions, recommendations, and references. This project has been planned to start in early February with the target completion date of mid-May 2026. Special approval has been granted by DBCA for the project overlap in May to accommodate and avoid the wet season, especially the period between December and March, known to be as the cyclone period. The client owner is DBCA. The site is located in Karijini National Park, Western Australia, and is approximately 53 kilometers northeast of the main town of Tom Price, both circled on the park map. Tom Price being the big circle, red circle, and the project site being the smaller red circle. The objective is to reconstruct existing unsealed gravel road to a sealed road to allow hire cars to access the park. The works involves installation of drainage, water management, materials to be sourced from 2 pits within the park located on Banjima Drive, and in conjunction with the use of a surface miner that is available on site. The pavement design is a double spray seal flexible pavement, and we'll now look at the project context and some key challenges. The project context and key challenges. This project is a subsection of a bigger 53-kilometer upgrade of unsealed roads within the park. The park attracts approximately 650,000 visitors per year. The conservation of the park's fauna, flora, and cultural heritage, especially the gorges of the park, is of utmost importance and supports and aligns with the objectives of the Conservation and Land Management Act, which is hereafter referred to as CALM. Once completed, this project aims to deliver economic benefits to the region, local businesses, and residents. To enable successful delivery, it is crucial to recognize key challenges, which include the variable rainfall in the region, a restricted 6-week construction window, maintaining the crossroad access for the threatened species of the western pebble mound mouse, protection of the spinifex habitat, other fauna and flora protection measures, and retention of some specific trees, minimizing the clearing, treatment of the clayey ground and subgrade, and addressing the geometric challenges of the steep grades and frequent erosion. These have been risk assessed and some mitigation measures included in the final design or recommended for implementation during construction. The success of this project is incumbent upon effective stakeholder engagement, shared commitment, collaboration, and clear accountability. Early engagement and collaboration with principal stakeholders cannot be underestimated. It is important that consultation is maintained and each party enacts their roles and responsibilities and commitments as follows. The Department of Biodiversity, Conservation and Attractions, DBCA, is the project owner or client, who is responsible for the management of the park, approvals, funding, and is also the interface with road authorities. We have then the project delivery partners, our Main Roads Western Australia, responsible for all specifications on the project, the project team, and the main contractor. The traditional owners, who are custodians of the land, provide cultural heritage insights and play an advisory role on any Aboriginal matters. Then we have the federal and state authorities, who are responsible for any legislative and statutory related issues, permits, licenses, approvals, and rehabilitation issues. Last but not least are the road users, the visitors to the park, businesses, and the local community who are consulted and informed on project progress and issues, for example, dust, noise, road closures, and any changes to speed limits. We will now go through water and wastewater management. Unsealed road has historically suffered from erosion and surface deterioration due to inadequate drainage. To overcome these challenges, 5 catchment areas based on the topographical mapping and satellite imagery were identified and is shown as C1 to C5 in the image on my left. These catchments were assessed for scour risk and flow velocity was estimated. To mitigate scour risks and based on the estimated flow velocities, protection measures for each catchment is recommended as per the table, based on Main Roads Western Australia specifications. The proposed protection measures include the provision of robust floodway treatments, installation of culverts and diversion drains. Upon assessment of the rainfall data, the outcome of hydrological investigation, looking at the soil types, the design flows, and the required serviceability level, the structural and durability considerations, it was decided that a Type 3 floodway design is the best recommendation for Catchment 5. The flow volumes and culvert sizing is based off hydrological modeling using Australian rainfall and runoff data. In the next slide, I've included a cross-section of the Type 3 floodway from the Main Roads Western Australia specification. The potential for flash flooding is the main driver for the Type 3 floodway design recommendation, as it can accommodate higher velocities, especially during tropical cyclones between December and March, where typical rainfall can be between 50 to 150 millimeters per day, as per the Australian Bureau of Meteorology data. The Kalamina National Park experiences low rainfall, which is both unreliable and seasonally distributed. From the image on the left, we can see that the average annual rainfall is in the region of 200 to 350 millimeters, which falls in summer, which is November to April. January and February on average are the wettest months of the year, while September and October are the driest. For these reasons, construction has therefore been scheduled during the drier months, April to May, to reduce erosion risk and avoid floodway disruption. Water during construction will be managed by installing temporary diversion channels that will redirect flow away from active work zones. Installation of sediment basins and silt fencing near ephemeral channels, catchments 1 and 3. Floodway crossings will be stabilized with temporary rock pads and geotextile layers. Water from Pit B's bore has also been tested and deemed adequate to supply the water required for construction. Wastewater management on site is covered in detail in the engineering report, and I will now go on to discuss materials and materials management. The sourcing and management of materials on site, which includes stockpiling, preventing contamination, and reusing where possible, will ensure quality and performance outcomes for each element into which these materials are incorporated. We will now go on to discuss the sources, compliance, and suitability of available materials. There are 2 pits, Pit A and Pit B, on Banjima Drive, close to the site. Main Roads Western Australia specifications for pavement allows for materials from the Pilbara region to be utilized for pavement construction and have been assigned different specification limits. Preliminary testing of these materials from Pit A and Pit B were conducted, and the summary of compliance can be seen in the table. Essentially, Pit A's material can be utilized for base and sub-base construction, while Pit B's material is restricted for inclusion only in the sub-base. There is a surface miner available on site, which is quite useful as it can be used to produce compliant fill material for the gravel overlay, and can also be used to blend materials where required. The advantages of using the surface miner is that it is capable of grinding material in situ, reduces dust, extraction is vibration free, and is ideal in an environmentally sensitive area like the park where blasting is restricted. It has also been successfully used for lateritic gravels and calcrete extraction for remote road construction in the Pilbara and Kimberley regions. For further detailed use advantages, disadvantages, including the process control and quality of materials, please refer to the engineering report. As the natural ground is clayey and where the subgrade consists of soft, expansive clays, subgrade treatment is imperative. Lime stabilization has been proposed to improve the bearing capacity and reduce plasticity. Quality assurance, quality control, and testing frequencies are all as per Main Roads Western Australia specifications. Quality assurance inspections and sign-off will ensure that only competent materials are incorporated into the works. Water for the construction from Pit B bore has been confirmed to be suitable for use and is compliant with Main Roads Western Australia specifications. Next on the agenda is risk management. This risk management framework has been used to identify potential hazards and/or risks for the project. Once the risk or hazard is identified, the hierarchy of controls is applied in conjunction with assessing its likelihood of occurrence and consequence. Based on the outcome, mitigation and control measures are implemented to prevent recurrence. This framework is to be used for ongoing identification of hazards and/or risks during the duration of the project, and this can be related to safety, quality, environment, or anything relating to achieving sustainability outcomes. A risk register is to be maintained, and regular reviews and debriefs are required to prevent recurrence. Lessons learned are to be shared and implemented as best practice for future projects. We will now look at the project schedule and site management. Project is scheduled to start at the beginning of February with pre-construction planning activities. These include project approvals, including statutory licenses and permits for water, gravel pit extraction, floodway and clearing permits, DBCA approvals, environmental permits. Engagement of DBCA approved ecologists is important for the survey regarding the Western Pebble Mound Mouse, other fauna and flora. Compilation of the stakeholder engagement plan, the project quality plan, the environmental management plan, safety plan, and traffic management plan. Also includes the confirmation of the final design and specifications with Main Roads Western Australia. Establishment of camp and site facilities, the pre-clearance fauna and flora management, mobilization of plant and equipment, which include the graders, bulldozers, water carts, rollers, surface miner, and then vegetation clearing. Main construction work starts with the survey set out in pre-works, followed by drainage and floodway works, and then earthworks and subgrade construction in early April. The Gantt chart shows the main construction phases and critical path in red. The blue blocks are hold points during pavement construction, especially before placement of subsequent layers. The curing time and the timing of placement of the second layer of aggregate during the double-double spray seal, surfacing works, is as per Main Roads Western Australia specifications. Contingencies are not shown on this Gantt chart. However, the Gantt chart will be updated as works commence. Road furniture, ancillary works, and car park will be the final elements, followed by the site decommissioning, rehabilitation, and final handover using the pre-opening road safety audit outcome to open the road to visitors. The project end date has been projected as mid-May. I will now provide some concluding remarks and recommendations. For successful delivery of the project, it is recommended that the contract be awarded to a competent and experienced contractor, preferably someone who has previously delivered a remote road construction project in a national park. It is also important that only compliant materials be incorporated into the works. Ensuring ongoing consultation and stakeholder collaboration as per the stakeholder engagement plan. Compliance with all statutory regulations, acts, permits, licenses, and specification requirements. Embedding key project management principles of cost, quality, and time to prevent delays, minimize remedial works, and deliver the project within budget. In conclusion, it is expected that the project will deliver the following: improved safety and reliability for tourists and service vehicles, reduced maintenance costs for DBCA, enhanced visitor experience and tourism growth, protection of environmental and cultural values through sustainable construction practices followed throughout the project duration. For any references that were not included in this presentation that you are interested in, please refer to the engineering report. Finally, I have included an image of what post-delivery looks like. I thank you for your attention and invite any feedback or comments you may have through the DBCA website portal.